So, the Big Carp Buzz is a series of films that's there to inspire you to go fishing. It's non-technical, it's non-instructional, but at the same time, you know, we make these videos, we put them out on YouTube, and there's a lot of people that want to know why you're using that, and they want to know what you're using. So this video is for those guys, for you guys. You know, if you're interested, I'm going to tell you why I'm using what I'm using. And it's a rig that sort of came about a little bit from my fishing at Wellington Country Park. I was looking for a rig where I could quick change the hook. I wanted to be able to change the hook after each cast, after a nuisance fish, after a carp. You know, if you're using sharpened hooks, say Kamakuras or hand sharpened hooks, inevitably, you know, you're reeling across a gravel patch and that hook's destroyed. And that's one of the main reasons I've always used really simple rigs, is because the hooks just don't last, and I don't want to be tying complicated rigs that take hours and hours and hours to construct. So having used a spinner rig and got used to that ability of being able to quick change a hook, you know, I really like that. You know, you can use more technical rigs, more efficient rigs, if you can change the hook easily and don't have to keep constructing them. So I was thinking along those lines, and I was looking for a rig that was basically like a Combi-Rig. So you're looking for a stiff boom section that pushes the bait away from the lead, helps it to reset, and looking for a soft, supple section that allows the hook to turn in the fish's mouth. But I wanted to sort of make a bit of a combination of a few different ideas. So I'm using a Combi-Rig, stiff material to a soft material, but I've tied the soft material in a loop. So I've done that with an Albright knot, and the reason I've done that is because I can quick change that hook now. I've got a Combi-Rig that I can quick change. It's tied with a loop of braid rather than a single strand, like a multi-rig or like a Slip D, but really, realistically, you would call it a CombiRig Slip D. And the reason for that is, first of all, I'm fishing under the tree using a bait boat, and I'm dropping it vertically, so I'm not feeling the lead down. If I had a soft hook link on and my foam nugget was popped up off the bottom like that, the foam nugget would come away and the hook bait would try and fall directly on top of the lead, and that wouldn't be any good. And also, if I was using a soft hook link, it'd have a good chance of tangling anyway during descent from the boat. So the stiff boom is anti-tangle, and then when that foam nugget breaks away, the stiff boom just pushes that semi-buoyant hook bait out away from the lead, and then it's, no matter how many times the roach peck at this hook bait, and they are, I've watched them from the tree, they're pecking away at it, that will always reset that rig. So it's anti-tangle from the back of the boat, it's sort of nuisance fish proof because I'm using a rubber bait, and I've got a stiff boom. It's just a really simple rig. So the first thing you need to do to construct a Combi multi-rig is take some 25-pound dark matter coated braid and remove the plastic outer coating. You want about 8 to 10 inches of the inner core of the bare braid without the plastic coating. Once you've done this, you then need some 25-pound boom. You fold that over, creating a loop, and you do the same with the inner from the 25-pound dark matter braid. You pass the braided loop through the mono loop until you have roughly 2.5 centimetres of a loop of braid poking through the loop of fluorocarbon, and then you tie a 4-turn Albright knot by wrapping the braided part around the fluorocarbon part, and then making sure both tag ends come out of the loop the same way as the other exposed loop. From here, you want to tighten this down using a puller tool, and in an ideal world, you want your loop to be 3.5 to 4 centimetres in length. So no more than 4, no less than 3.5, somewhere in that bracket. From here, I like to cover over this knot with a 10mm piece of 0.5mm silicone. This just covers up the knot and makes it all neat and tidy. From here, I take a 0.6mm crimp, I thread the fluorocarbon through the crimp, then through the ring swivel of the hybrid clip, and then back through the 0.6mm crimp once again. I take this against my rig board and measure it until it's 4.5 to 5 inches long, you know, depending how you want that, and then crimp that down tightly to the ring of the ring swivel and trim your tag. So that is the formulation of your hook link. Now I take a 1.5 centimetre piece of the medium shrink tube, and I make a small hole using a pointed baiting needle to form my liner. I use a splicing needle to go out through the tubing, through the hole, and then draw the braided section of the rig through the shrink tube. I then thread the doubled over loop of braid through the eye of the hook, the front side. Then that goes inside the shrink tube, and then the ring swivel, the micro hook ring swivel, goes over the loop, and the main loop of the braid passes over the hook point. You now have to sort of jostle it all into position. You want the loop of braid level with the barb on the shank of the hook. Take a small piece of bait floss, thread that through the eye of the micro ring swivel, and draw your chosen wafter hook bait down onto the swivel, trim and blob off to secure. Really important at this moment, you're going to steam it on the kettle, and when you do this under tension, the shrink tube tends to lean back on itself. From here, just make sure the second you come away from the kettle, you just shape the shrink tube before it cools, so it's forming the liner and following the eye of the hook. And there you have it, the Combi multi-rig. I've been using this rig at Wellington Country Park in a lot of my personal fishing, and I was using it with size 4 wide gauge Pecks to start with, and I started to lose the odd fish, and I've since changed to a size 6 wide gauge Pecks. And I think when you're fishing with semi-buoyant baits, small baits like this, I just think the size 6X works that much better. And like I say, I've landed most of the fish at Welly on it, all of the fish here so far on a Bluebell, and it's just an ultra efficient, ultra easy Combi/Slip D.